and welcome to The Nation. I'm ELANE Abdullah. Today we're joined by HISHAM IBRAHIM, CEO of Mydigital ID, Sdn Bhd. And we'll be exploring how Mydigital ID is set to transform the way Malaysians access public services, making it more seamless, secure and efficient. Hi there, how are you doing, Nick?
Very good. Thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you so much for coming and illuminating us with what this is, Mydigital ID. I think some have heard, but a lot of people may not have heard about it and may not know exactly what it does. So as an introduction, for those who may not be familiar, can you explain what Mydigital ID is and the main purpose behind introducing it?
Essentially, it is Mydigital ID is the national digital identity system for the country.
So it's like a IC in digital form?
It's like an IC in digital form, except for it's used only for online transactions.
Okay, so which means if face-to-face, I cannot just show you my digital ID and then it replaces my IC now.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So the main function is so that you can verify that you are who you say you are.
Actually, you are online.
Yeah, that you are the right person.
Okay,
right?
all right. So that is sort of like the simplistic description of what it is. But how does that work? How do you tell that it's literally you?
I'm
guessing there's a process to it with regards to the verification and all that.
Yeah. So when you sign up for Mydigital ID on your device, you are asked for your IC and your name, and that is then physically verified with your record at JPN. So that's the single source of truth.
Right.
So it's not just us that uses it; it's all the agencies in the country also uses it.
Okay.
GPJ, immigration, right? So once that is verified, then we inject a certificate into your phone, which has a scrambled version of your name and your IC.
Ah, okay.
So every time you use it, that scrambled version gets sent across to be verified.
Ah, okay.
And you can only access it from your phone, from one phone.
Your individual assigned device that you want to park where your digital ID is.
Yeah. So essentially, you're verified once with JPN.
Yeah.
Then you can use it.
And this becomes now your digital passport, so to speak.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So let's talk about the key challenges in public service delivery. Is Mydigital ID aiming to solve that in its process, the implementation and user impact too? So tell us about what the key challenges are that we are looking to solve with this.
Essentially, there are two main things. One is trying to eliminate all these online scams and fraud.
Which is becoming rampant these days.
Yeah. So you see a lot of people being scammed. Please send me money.
Yes.
Calling from LHDN, WhatsApp from I'm from LHDN. If you don't pay me now, the police will come and pick you up.
Yep.
So on the one hand, that's one issue that we're trying to address with Mydigital ID, because with Mydigital ID, then and if everybody uses it, then there will be nobody that can impersonate anybody, right? So it has to be the right person that is online.
Right.
Of course, the other one is more a question of efficiency. So by efficiency, what we mean is we've got Mydigital ID's back end, which allows people to log in to access systems. So instead of every agency having one system to log in, right, we've got one centralized system, and so you don't duplicate the costs.
Okay,
Yeah?
so essentially it becomes one central depository of information that all the agencies tap into. So if it's updated, it should in theory also be updated using that same digital. Because, especially if you lose something or you change something, say for example, you change your phone number and then you have to change your phone number at every institution that you've ever given your phone number to. So literally, like I go to this bank A, bank B, bank C, and then to my, like, whoever, it's the electric bill, whatever not. So does that mean that you eliminate that with this one process?
Not necessarily. Every agency will still have your profile relevant to that agency's context. Right. But there's one centralized system that verifies that you are who you say you are, so that you can log in to access that service.
Right, okay. So it still means that there's no data sharing still, but it's just that you have the identification that's verified.
Yes.
Okay, all right, so we're clear on that. So we're looking at efficiency, That's the objective of this. And let's talk about the ease of access. How will Mydigital ID transform the way Malaysians interact with government services compared to, say, for current methods?
Well, card methods are more for online, right? So, card methods are more for physical interactions. Traditionally, if you want to withdraw money from your ASB account, you go over the counter and you
show your IC.
Yeah, show your IC, right?
Yeah.
Now with digital ID, you can do that securely, even though you don't go over the counter, right? And essentially, it allows you to use your ID to access multiple. I mean, there are about 400 different government services, right? So instead of remembering one ID and password for every single one that you interact with, so you just have one Mydigital ID that you can use to access every single.
Oh, that's a good way of looking at it. I really dislike having to have multiple passwords because I can't remember.
And then you know these. There are policies that these organizations have to enforce. You have to change your password every X number of months. In this case, you just do one.
Oh, that leads me obviously to the question of security, though. How do we know that whatever that we have with Mydigital is secure? And with the intensive rise in cybersecurity, there is great fear of that not being safe.
Well, we look at it from multiple different angles. So one is when we first built the system, it is built on certain standards. So we comply to ISO 29115 2015, we comply to NIST CP 863C, we comply to Common Criteria Level 3. What that all means is that we just don't simply build an ID system willy-nilly, ikut suka. It's not. It's based on global standards. It's based on best practice. It's based on, it's also verified by a third party, an independent party, right? So that's one. So it's built safe, right, according to standards. And then number two is that we don't keep, other than your name and your IC, which is scrambled in a hash form, we don't keep any data.
Okay.
Right? Even when we verify your ID when you register, we actually, to simplify the explanation, we actually open a window in JPN. We check
and throw it out.
Yeah, we check with JPN. Is this data the same? Right?
Is it correct?
And even then, when we cross-check with JPN, we hash the data first. We scramble it first.
Yeah.
Using a key, and JPN does the same. So we're comparing two scrambled keys.
So that it is not something that is legible to someone that might be spying in that sense.
So if you open it up, you will just see a bunch of alphanumeric. So and then at the third layer, whenever you use your ID, we ask your permission first. So you will see the app.
You have to approve. You have to give permission for it to be used before it being.
So if you're logging on to MyJPJ, for example, you can opt to log in with Mydigital ID, and when you click on Mydigital ID to log in, the app will ask you, can I send this information to JPJ?
Right, so you must be the one that gives the permission. Okay, we'll have to take a short breather right now. When we come back, let's explore a little bit more about the security portion of it and how it can impact us as users to be able to facilitate our life. Stay tuned, we'll be right back. Hello, thanks for staying with us on The Nation. You're still with me, ELANE Noor Abdullah. In the studio, I have HISHAM IBRAHIM, CEO of Mydigital ID Sdn Bhd with me. And we're speaking about Mydigital ID and how it's going to be used on an everyday basis. So, Nick, let's just touch on the sort of like simplification of how this will enable our lives, right? Could you share practical examples of how Mydigital ID will make life easier for, say, for example, the person that's watching at home, for citizens on the street, for instance, whether it be healthcare, education, or welfare applications?
Well, essentially, the whole concept of Mydigital ID is to allow you to access all these systems with ease, without having to remember IDs and passwords, right? So whatever services that are currently available. For example, if you want to go and set an appointment at a hospital, at a public hospital, you can use MySejahtera. So in the past, you'd have to remember your ID and password, right?
Yeah.
So now you would log in with MyDigital ID.
Yeah. So this is a sample of the MySejahtera, right?
Yes. So this is MySejahtera. So you can see right at the bottom, it says you can log in with your ID and password, but at the bottom there's also login with MyDigital ID.
Right. Okay.
So when you click on that, it will ask the app will ask you, can I send this information? And you send, and then you're in.
Right.
Right. Likewise, if you want to receive subsidies, or you want to check whether you are eligible to receive Sumbangan Tunai Rahmah subsidy, right? You can use your MyDigital ID to check, to log in and check. Even everyday payments, you want to pay your traffic summons on at PDRM or at JPJ, same. You can log in with just using MyDigital ID without having to memorize, without having to use your ID and password.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like a simplification of all your online transactions with government-related services.
Yes.
And I think we all know that we really dislike having multiple passwords to remember.
Yeah. And if I may add, on top of that, we're also now talking to the private sector, right? To banks, to people like Grab, to integrate MyDigital ID. So it's not just for access to government services, but also private sector services.
No, I mean, that would be obviously the no-brainer next step, which we would then definitely ask, like, is this only for the government services? Why is this not then available for all services that could potentially, like, simulate, like, it's my IC, right?
Yes.
Because the idea is that it's my digital IC, so it should function as that same platform on all private sector networks as well. Now, let's touch a little bit about inclusivity, where how is MyDigital ID designed to actually ensure accessibility for all segments of society, not just for those who are including rural communities, senior citizens, and those who potentially might be digitally less literate?
Yeah. Well, to begin with, the MyDigital ID application, actually, you don't notice when it works. It just sits there in the background.
Right. Okay.
You don't launch MyDigital ID app to log into JPJ, for example.
Okay.
You just go to the JPJ app and you say, I want to log in with MyDigital ID, and then everything happens in the background.
Oh, so you don't have to like just pull it up, like, I scan it and whatever.
So so from a user experience, we've tried to simplify it as much as possible, so that people who are not so technology literate can just use it instead of having to,
So I have a question. Say, for example, I'm on my laptop and I'm doing a transaction on a government website, and it says that, okay, do I want to use my digital ID? Then I say yes. But then it would then trigger my phone, which is where my digital ID is on, to sync to say that are you going to send this information, approval, blah, blah, blah. Is that how it works?
Almost. Services that are accessible from the laptop, that's integrated with MyDigital ID, they will display a QR code. So that's when you actually pull up the MyDigital ID.
Then I still have to scan
Then you
it.
scan.
Unless everything that you are accessing is on your phone itself, it will be happening in the background.
Correct. Yeah. So just to add a bit more about rural about inclusion, we also designed the app to use very little bandwidth. So you can be in a place where there's only 1 bar or 2 bars, because it doesn't send much information. It's very, it's just that scrambled piece of information that we send across. Right? So on top of that, we also work with NADI centers. So NADI is the government information dissemination centers that have been set up across the country. This used to be the Pusat Internet Desa way back when, right? So they've repurposed to become centers to disseminate government information. So we've got our kiosks deployed there, right? So anybody who's registered MyDigital ID or who wants to verify thumbprint, they can go to these centers and use the kiosk to do that.
Okay. Yeah. Now, I have a question with regards to the government integration, right? Which government services will be the first to adopt MyDigital ID, and what's the roadmap for the wider implementation of MyDigital ID?
We've already integrated 34 we've already integrated about 40 existing government services.
Okay.
These include PDRM, JPJ, MySejahtera. There are a couple of universities as well, UITM, I think UTM, University Malaysia Terengganu, various systems inside the university. So there are 40 of these government agencies that have already been integrated, and you can already log in using Mydigital ID. We expect to end the year with more than 100 government services. Right. So that's just government. At the same time, we are also working with private sector companies.
And you did mention earlier, because I think we were talking about adoption rate. What are the adoption rates right now for the users?
Yeah. So right now, we when we first started, it was not received very well. So there were not that many people registering.
It might be the barrier of the registration in the beginning as well, which you have simplified.
So we were doing about maybe 1,000, 2,000 registrations per day, but we're now up to 24, 25,000 per day. We've hit 3.2 million today, right? And we are doing a lot of things in the back end to simplify the process of onboarding. It used to be quite a hassle to onboard. You have to take a picture of your IC and make sure there's no reflection.
You admitted that, but now it's a smooth sailing process.
So now it takes about 20 seconds.
20
to 30 seconds. Because what we've done is we've gone to agencies that have already onboarded the rakyat.
Right.
For example, MyJPJ has already, if you've already registered with MyJPJ to use MyJPJ, that means you've already gone through the eKYC process.
Right.
So we don't want to duplicate that. We've basically taken, when we onboard you, we take
you do
your
back-end
record.
verifications.
And then we verify with JPN, and that's it. And you just have to verify your face once against JPN to confirm that you are who you say you are.
So it's a simple process right now. We'll take another short break. When we come back, we'll cover about international benchmarking as well, and talking about the economic and social impact of Mydigital ID. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after these messages. Hello, you're still with me on The Nation. I'm ELANE NOOR. In the studio, I have HISHAM IBRAHIM, CEO of Mydigital ID. We're talking about how you can use your Mydigital ID and accelerate your process. In the beginning, it's with government services, but we're looking to also onboard private sectors. You're in talks with that. But let's talk about international benchmarking for now, Nick. Many countries have digital identity systems. We're not the first and we're not the only one. And what lessons has Malaysia drawn from these best practices? What are the pitfalls to avoid? What are the success stories for us to emulate?
Yeah, I think we benchmarked against a few key countries that have implemented. Of course, our nearest neighbor, Singapore. India has done a brilliant job with their, they call it Aadhaar, right? And then Estonia, of course, is a leading reference for Mydigital ID. So when we benchmark against those, we look at how they implemented and how they got people to come on board as quickly as possible. So we looked at their use cases, right? And we look at what, for lack of a better word, infrastructure and legislation that they have in place, right? So that we can see which ones we want to adopt and which ones we want to localize for our own.
Learn from the best and, you know, buang yang keruh.
So we found that all of these countries have one thing in common. They have some sort of legislative framework that builds trust with the people. Right? So it's the same. Why do people go to Post Malaysia and give them money and trust Post Malaysia to pay your bills, to pay your electricity bill? Why do people trust Post Malaysia to deliver very expensive stuff through mail? Because there's legislation. There's an act.
Okay.
Right? So we look at it from that angle as well, and also how they drive adoption without forcing, the incentives that they put in place. So those are the things that we
And do we have such same benchmarking legislation in place for Mydigital ID?
We are. It's a long discussion. Legislation means you have to go up and down Parliament, and you have to make sure that it's done properly. So it's happening, but it may not be immediate. It's going to be a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I know some of the countries that have all these digital ID, and it's all part and parcel of like, because you need those services, and therefore you use these services or these digital IDs to facilitate those processes. It becomes compulsory for you to have them.
Well, yeah. It's necessary to have the legislation, but it is not about compelling people to sign up. Yeah, that's not what the legislation is intended to be for.
Okay. Now let's talk about the bigger picture. How will Mydigital ID support Malaysia's digital economy agenda and its overall competitiveness? Will it actually change anything?
We feel that it will. We take the angle, and this is why Mydigital ID today is parked under the National Security Council, because we take security first, right, and make sure that the security is done properly.
Right, because that's the purpose of it, to prevent fraud, prevent identity theft.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So we feel that once we've done the security properly, the economic benefits will come. Right? People will have more confidence to invest in the digital platforms in the country if it's secure, right? So that's the main gist of how we will support the.
And obviously, with that, the trust of whatever security networks and security systems that you have in place will have to be tried and tested into order, because it keeps changing, right? Evolving day by day. What you've got now, tomorrow, somebody else got something else better.
It's a very exciting space to be in.
To navigate and bypass you. And then now, if we can wrap with, where do you see Mydigital ID in the next 5 years, and what excites you most about this journey?
Well, if based on where we're headed and where technology is headed, what we have today, the security mechanisms that we have in place in Mydigital ID today will be obsolete very soon, right? People are now talking about post-quantum computing or quantum computing. This technology that they have doesn't follow the normal rules of computing, that can easily break through all the encryption that we have. So we are gearing towards that direction, so that we have post-quantum cryptography to secure our systems. We are also looking at integrating with a blockchain platform, so that we can do more things with Mydigital ID and have traceability for all the transactions, so that the industry can use it.
That's very good to hear, that there is progress, there is actually future forward-looking, anticipatory actions for what's to come, because definitely the current encryptions are not going to be future-proof, and we need to be able to, if we want to trust the system, to be able to know that these are steps that are coming through us. Thank you so much, Nick, for sharing your thoughts, and hopefully this will be, the easiest gateway for us to be able to not have to think of passwords ever again. It will be interesting to see how Mydigital ID will reshape access to public services. So that's all for now. I'm ELANE. Thanks for watching, and be sure to follow us for conversations on issues that matter. This has been The Nation on IBRAHIM TV. Bye for now.
Ayo bersama-sama meriahkan sambutan Hari Kebangsaan 2025 pada 31 Ogos, Ahad, pukul 7 pagi di Dataran Putrajaya, Putrajaya. Saksikan pelbagai acara menarik, antaranya perbarisan dan perarakan, persembahan kebudayaan, persembahan udara dan banyak lagi. Kibarkan jalur gemilang, tanda cintakan negara. Malaysia Madani, rakyat disantuni. Layari www.merdeka360.my untuk maklumat lanjut.
Bayangkan anda sedang berada dalam sebuah bangunan yang tinggi, lift rosak dan anda terpaksa menaiki tangga.